Welcome back to another episode, and I am thrilled to be sharing this topic with you. And, you know, being the CEO of Career Evolved now, I've been really focused on helping high achieving professionals, business leaders to break through in their career. And recently started to expand with another brand called Career Elevation, which is about really developing leaders and C-suite, because what we're seeing over and over again is that leader is really the heartbeat of the team, and their energy level, their presence, their awareness, their mindset is really going to be what makes or breaks that team. And so being able to put people under the microscope and be a mirror to them and help shift their perspective and provide new ways of thinking, it can dramatically change a business, it can change your life, and it can absolutely skyrocket your career. So when you change your energy, you will change your life. And so what do I mean by energy? And I'm going to be going through this in depth today, but when I think about energy, it's really a mindset. And that's the quickest way to categorize it. Not from a scientific level. We can get really granular with this. But from today's thinking, it's going to be about the mindset that you're in. And so there's 7 energy levels that I'm going to be going through. And these are the same framework of energy levels that we use at Career Evolved with our clients in our program. And it's a major tool that we are constantly referencing. And I recently just finished a book called Energy Leadership by Bruce Schneider, and it references that 7 levels of energy from iPad coaching. I highly recommend this book for anyone that really wants to ignite a team or re-engage people or get better results from your business. And especially if you're a CEO listening to this, your business is a direct reflection of your mindset. And it's not until we take that ownership that we can begin to really shift things and make waves and turn things around quickly. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. And this is a framework that I have seen really change so many lives, especially at Career Evolve, because the majority of the planet is living in a level 1 and level 2 energy. And those are the lower consciousness levels. And I'm going to go through that. But if you're creating and making decisions from a level 1 and level 2 energy, you're going to keep creating those kinds of results, which is scarcity. And so, with that being said, one thing I want to focus on first is this is a 7 levels. The first 2 are really where I would say, and the book references this as well, but 85% of the general population is at level 1 and 2 for the majority of their time. And so level 1 is victim, I lose. And so when you're in a victim mindset, you feel stuck, you feel powerless, you feel just really hopeless. You feel discouraged, you feel low energy, lethargic, just exhaustion, burnout. And it's a place where you feel like everything is happening to you. And it's a place where you can't even see another option. You're just completely overwhelmed and you don't see any way out. And this is the part where a lot of people who are just in survival mindset, they go to these places where they're just living month to month or week to week, and they never can break that cycle because they're stuck in the same level of thinking. And so they don't think they have another choice. And so being able to build yourself back up and really what we have our clients do is really start to pour in into your self-worth, your self-trust, do your affirmations, go on a walk, go work out, start to really feed your self-worth so you can start to get some energy to trust yourself to get out of this stuck thinking and make a new decision, but you really have to build yourself back up to break out of that pattern because we see people live there for an entire life. And then as you're getting to that place, you're always thinking, I lose. And it's a mindset. I always lose. I can't stop losing. It's when you get up to fighter where you finally get so sick and tired of settling, of tolerating all this nonsense, and you're finally done. That's when you get to level 2, fighter. And this is a good sign because you're fighting your way up that hill, you're getting out of the hole. You're starting to get sick and tired of your own nonsense, right? And it's not until we get so sick and tired of our own excuses, our own limitations that we keep creating, and our own self sabotage that we say, enough is enough. I'm ready for change now. And that's when you can make a new decision. And that's when you finally break through and you start movement and you're no longer stagnant. So, fighter is a good thing. A lot of times it can be bad, though, of course, if you stay there. Because if you stay there, then everything's always a war and you're constantly thinking you lose. So, everything's some sort of competition. It's always creating a dynamic of trying to win and trying to blame, and it's it's a heavy place because you waste so much energy creating conflict because it's an addiction to fighting and to being in that survival mode. So it's not until you can start to let go of who's to blame or who's winning and instead focus on, you know, yourself and how you can really elevate and evolve and improve and what shifts can you be making. Once you start to turn that focus inward, you can really start to move up to level 3, which is rationalizer. And this is a good place to be because you're able to see that I can win. I always see a way to win. You can start to make light of any situation through shifting that perspective in the moment. You can find reasons to believe in another alternative and have a more neutral mindset. The challenge with rationalizer is you can rationalize any situation. So it can keep you stagnant from making new changes, new decisions, new improvements, new evolution. And so once you start to get comfortable, and I see this happen a lot with high achieving professionals, even business owners, they get to a certain point and they're making good, decent money. They're, good, and they just want to coast. And they're in like what I call a warm bath. So they're comfortable, but they're bored. And so that's a great place to be if that's your season in life. There's no problem with being comfortable. I would just say once it gets to a place of boredom, that can certainly create some issues for people because if we're not growing, we're dying. And I think us as humans, for fulfillment, we want to feel that expansion of knowledge, of challenging. We want to continue to sharpen the blade and become more valuable. We crave that evolution. And so don't rob yourself of that if inside of you you want more. And a lot of times we can't see what that next level is. So we just settle because this is all we know. And all you know is what you've always done. So the best way to get up a level is to continue to get more energy towards what else could you be doing to add more value? How can you serve more people? How can you learn more skills? Once you get to the next level, caregiver, this is more about being in that giving generosity, helpfulness, kindfulness, always open to help, always focused on serving others. And caregiver is great. They're amazing, magnetic gel on a team. They can bring people together. They're always looking out. They're conscious to include people. They're always making sure everyone feels good. So it's a great team player. And this can sometimes be a challenge, though, when the caregiver doesn't feel like they're taken care of. So they're not putting the oxygen mask on themselves first. So they're over giving and from an empty cup. Then they can become resentful and just burn out. And, you know, resentment is the silent killer of relationships. So caregivers can really struggle with feeling totally just jaded, taken advantage of, and so forth. Then as you move up to level 5, opportunists, this is someone that always sees opportunity. Every challenge is an opportunity, every loss is an opportunity to learn, every setback is a setup for the next comeback. It's to build strength. So it's always looking at that opportunity, finding a way to win. And this is a really great place to be. It's where the leaders are. They're able to shift the energy, get the positive motivation back, light the fire back in yourself, on your team, and keep that drive going and reset. The level 6 visionary is another level above just the wins and the loss. It's a higher level perspective where everyone always wins and there is no judgment of good or bad, and it's a higher level of acceptance. And a lot of people in business, when you're in the visionary, people are like, your head's in the clouds, you're way out of line, that we got to get practical. And it's the visionaries who are the ones causing a breakthrough because they're innovating and they're seeing the bigger picture of the opportunity versus whether or not it's gonna be a winner fail right this moment. They see a greater opportunity of up at a higher perspective. And so there is no win and loss in that vision level thinking because you're looking at creating for the long haul, not the near term loss and win. That's not the point. It's about the purpose and the greater opportunity. So it's really everyone always wins. And this is a really powerful place for C suite, senior leaders, SVPs, and CEOs to really operate from because you've got to hold that vision and you've got to make sure that everyone's aligned with that vision. And you've also got have to get everyone's buy-in and excitement about their role in that vision and get them connected to that. And that's going to create a force that can really make waves in an industry, in a market. So visionary leadership is absolutely crucial to getting a business to a really dramatic goal quickly. And then level 7's like creator level energy. This is where winning and losing are illusion. This is the highest consciousness level. It's really when you're ascending to the highest heights of consciousness and awareness. And um, this is really what we focus on as leadership because consciousness, when we talk about this, it seems like a buzzword, but what that really means is your awareness. And the more you can become aware of your energy level as a leader, the more you can make waves with your team because, like I said at the beginning, as the leader, we are the heartbeat of that team. Our energy is setting the tone and the higher energy always wins. So if you continue to maintain that mindset, that perspective, and hold that vision, regardless of what storm is going on, regardless of which chaos is around, regardless of how bad the month was or the week was, how can you hold that vision and that energy, that excitement, that commitment, that conviction? That's all the mindset work that is so critical to making an impact because we are now in a day and age where tactics and, you know, that tactical leadership isn't enough. That's management. How can you really get the most out of people? And how can you get everyone engaged to really break through and hit some big goals together? That's what this is about. And energy leadership is an absolute game changer. This is something we regularly coach on our clients at Career Evolved as well as in our new program, Career Elevation. So if any of this resonates with you and you feel like this could make a big impact for you or your team, definitely book a call with us. We would love to schedule, I would love to speak with you or my managing partner, Ryan, would also as well. you can go to www.careerevolved.com/schedule. That's www.careerevolved.com/schedule. All right, guys, I hope you had an amazing day. And if there's just one takeaway that you got from this episode and it was valuable to you and you felt like it shifted your perspective, I would love for you to take a moment and share this episode with somebody else. And it really motivates me to get to impact more lives and continue to serve this community. Thank you so much.